Hey everybody, welcome back to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com, and here on my YouTube channel. And this time out, we're going to take a look at the IK-MultiMedia MIXBOX plugin. This is a really cool plugin, and it's a bunch of plugins actually in a 500 series rack. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to listen to it on some audio sources, and you're going to get a chance to walk around and take a look at this plugin. It's really cool. I like this by IK-MultiMedia, and I think you're going to dig it. But before we get to that, if you like what you see in this video, please consider subscribing and also hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting new content. Also, if this is your first time here, I want you to head out to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. I want to give you a free mixing course worth about $100. It's my gift to you just for visiting HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. Right on the homepage, can't miss it. Click the big orange button. And if you stick around till the end of this video, I'm going to give you something else for free. So let's head on over into Studio One. Here is the IK-MultiMedia MIXBOX. Now, as I said, I have some modules laid out here. We'll start with an empty slate and we'll walk through it here. But what this is this is a 500 rack series type of a plugin with a bunch of different modules, everything from EQs to compressors to saturators and different types of tools. And we'll walk through some of those today. Now, the major competitor in this there's a few companies that make this kind of 500 series kind of rack plugin where you have a bunch of different modules that you can rearrange the order of and swap them in and out. The most popular one probably, or the one that has been around the longest, I think, is the Slate Digital, the VMR, the Virtual Mix Rack, which is part of their All Access Pass, or you can buy it separately, but most popular is the All Access Pass. And then also there's another company called PSP, which makes the Infinity Strip, which we've talked about on this channel before, very similar, and they all have their different things. Now, a lot of folks aren't really happy today with places like Slate Digital that charge, a monthly fee or an annual fee to get all their plugins. Now, like I said, if you get their All Access Pass, you'll get not only the VMR, but all their other plugins. Some people just want to buy the plugin and want to own it. And IK-MultiMedia has that option, and they make a really good plugin here in the MIXBOX. So it's kind of the alternative to the Slate Digital. A lot of the same kind of plugins, some different plugins as well that make things sound a little unique. So I think it's worth checking out. I'll leave the links in the description box below. You could check it out at Sweetwater. And I think it's I think if you have some other IK-MultiMedia products, this is like $199 for the MIXBOX. And if you don't have any of their plugins, it's kind of your first time at IK-MultiMedia, I believe it's $299, so it's super affordable. So the links will be down below, and fair warning, those are affiliate links. So if you buy anything from Sweetwater using those links or anything else in the description box, I get a small commission and you're helping support what I do, but you don't pay anything more for the product. This is not a sponsored video in any way, except for the affiliate links below. So anyway, here's the MIXBOX. So let's first start with I put some plugins in here so you can actually hear it. But let's start with like an empty slate here so we could kind of walk through what it is. So if I'll just drop it here. So if I come over to my browser and I drop in an instance of the MIXBOX, let me show you what it looks like. So here's an empty slate. So as I said, when you open it up, you'll see you have 1, 2, 3, 4 slots here for putting in modules, and we can actually expand that, which I'll show you in a second. But the first thing I really like about this is you can actually take the bottom corner and you can resize the plugin interface, which is really great. I say this all the time. Why doesn't every company do this? They don't all do it, but IK-MultiMedia does, and that's really awesome. If we start here on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have our input meters and we have an input control here that we can control the level of the input. If we click this little button here on the bottom, you'll also see a little panel open up on the bottom of the plugin where each one of the modules, you can have kind of a wet dry thing. So if you're using some reverbs and such, you can kind of do a 50-50 thing, or if you're doing parallel compression, you could do a wet dry on each one of the modules, which I think is really cool. Above that up here, if you click this button above the meter, you'll see that it expands, I believe, to 8 slots, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, right up top, it's numbered, 8 slots. So you can view it in the 4-slot mode or the 8-slot mode. And again, you can resize the window, as I said, so you can make it any size that you need. But if you're going to only use a couple of modules, you probably don't need to look at the 8-slot view. You can click this and go to the 4-slot view, which may be more convenient. Okay, so now, and if we go over to the right side here before we look at the modules, once again, if you click this I button, it'll give you the information about the IK-MultiMedia MIXBOX. You have your output meter, your output level. You could turn it on and off here. And then below the power button, we have this little mixer here where you can actually, I believe this is, yeah, this is so you can mix in, everything's set at Unity, but if you wanted to solo up one of the modules, or if you wanted to turn up the volume of one of the modules over another, you can do that there as well on the output side. So that's kind of cool. So this is the main output above the power LED, and this is the module level output. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's take a look at what we could do here. So in slot number 1, you could turn it on and off here by the power button. You could come up here, and here are all the plugins and all the modules that come with it. So again, you get like a whole bunch of them. I don't know, you get 3 in the saturator, you get 3, 6, 9 in the reverb, you get a whole bunch. I don't know how many plugins there are exactly. You can go to the IK-MultiMedia or website, or you can look at the Sweetwater link. But I mean, you get a fair amount of plugins for $300 or $200 if you have another one of IK-MultiMedia's products where you can upgrade and they give you a discount. You even have guitar amps. So let's just kind of cycle through and see what you get here. So for our amps here, you get American Vintage, which is kind of a twin, right? A Fender. You have the British Tube Lead, okay? You have a cabinet speaker emulator. So this would be kind of cool if you were plugging your guitar in and you wanted to record an electric guitar. You can just left click and drag this and slide this over, and you can put your amp in cabinet, kind of a deal, right? Pretty handy. And if you want to remove this, I believe you just click on this and you can go empty, and there you go. We also have, let's see, a Flexi, which is probably kind of like an AC30 is what it kind of looks like. And then we have a Jazz 120, which is like the Roland. We have a Modern Tube Lead, which I don't know what that is. It's kind of maybe a Mesa Boogie kind of a deal. And we have a preamp as well, which is kind of nice. And we have an SVT Classic, which is a bass amp. So you have some little bit of bass module. And then we have a tone control here where you can just have an EQ. So you have a lot of stuff for guitar and for bass right there. You also have channel strips. We have 4 channel strips, right? So we have one channel strip here. This is based on a German, and if you look at the manual, they kind of tell you or allude to which each one of these modules are modeled after. You can go read that. We have an EQ, which is a Neve style. You can tell just by looking at it. We have, this looks like the black box here, EQ comp, and then we also have a Pultec style, okay, EQ PA, all right? If we go to our delays here, we have a digital delay, we have all kinds of stuff. We have a reverb and a delay, we have a tape echo. Okay, so we won't go through all of them here. I want to show you some of these. We have lots of compressors, we have distortion boxes, we have EQs, we have filters, different types of, lo-fi filters. We have modulation. We got a bunch of reverbs here, and we have some saturators, okay, which is really cool. So we have a lot of great things here. And what you can do is you can combine these together up to 8 modules, which is really nice. So what's really convenient about using something like this is you only need one plugin window. You don't need to have 15 inserts on each channel. You can build your own channel strips right here. You can also go down to the center section of the bottom, and I think they have a bunch of presets. Yes, they do. So let's say for drums, we wanted something like a basic acoustic snare chain. And that's what it'll put up, an EQ, a reverb, and then the Black 76, the 1176. Pretty cool, right? And so they have a bunch of presets you can start with, and then you can go ahead and you can choose, you can tweak from there. Female pushed vocal. Now that's going to give us a little bit more. We have some room, saturation EQ, and again, some compression, which is really, really nice. Okay. So that's what we got here. So let me show you in action what this kind of sounds like. Let me take this off of our here. So, okay, let's try bass. So now on our bass bus, and then we'll try them all together so you can hear the cumulative effect. Here's our bass. So on our bass, I did something really simple. I just used their channel strip here, this German kind of model channel strip along with the Sat X. I use the saturation a lot because I like it so much. So here's before what the bass sounds like. Okay, so on our channel strip, we got a simple little compressor here. We're compressing about 3.6 dB. We have a little sub frequency I'm adding here, about 3 dB at 30 hertz to give it some bottom. And then on our mid gain here, we're doing 11 dB at 1.8K to bring out some of the fingers. And I think that's about it. And then we're using our tape model of our saturator here, SAT-X here, and we're just adding a little tape to it. It's before. After. Again, sounds great, right? Let's go to electric guitar, and then we'll play the three together so you can kind of hear the cumulative effect. So on our electric guitar, again, I kind of just kept it simple. I'm just, because it's already distorted, I'm using the EQ1A, which is the kind of the Pultec thing, and then I'm using the SSL bus compressor here, which is really cool. So here we go. So here's before. Sounds great. I love this Pultec. It sounds very subtle, very Pultec-esque. And again, the SSL bus compressor as well. It's not overhyped. It sounds really good. Sounds great. Now we could even add a little bit of that saturation. There's other saturation stuff here too. There's the Phonograph, where you can hear the crackles and stuff if you wanted to give you kind of that vinyl kind of a vibe. They have a tape cassette, which you can hear like kind of the wow and flutter, which is not my favorite, that one. I like the SAT-X, as I said, because there's so many options here on this SAT-X here. So we could start something like on a little tape. Turn down the output. So you can really hear the difference between tape 1 and tape 2. Tape 2 is a lot more open on the top end. It doesn't lop off the top the way tape 1 does. Really cool. So you can add a little bit of saturation and you can be as aggressive or as subtle as you want to be. So now if we were to play back these three here, let me try to balance this a little bit. Okay, so now let's kind of just do before and after. And again, we quickly did this. So the level matching may not be perfect, but you'll get the idea here. So here's with the mix box, and then I'll just turn off all the mix boxes together so you can hear the difference. Here's with it. Really great plugin. I mean, an awesome alternative, you know, if you didn't want to, you know, if you're looking for something beyond what's out there on the market already and you're not, oh, I got keyboards here too. Let me bring in keyboards. Sorry about that. Let me bring in some keys. I forgot I had that. So here's our keyboards. Then we'll end this video. Oh. We had the, keep dragging this thing in. There we go. So on we have a kind of a B3 organ and a piano. We're going through a parametric EQ here, and then going through the Fairchild emulation, which is a really cool emulation. Here's our keys. It's before. Sounds great, man. And again, I would add a little saturation to this because I put saturation on everything in small doses. And maybe we do something like maybe, you know, again, maybe just a little bit of, maybe a little push-pull here. Let's see what that does. That's before the whole plugin. After. Now let's listen to the whole band together and let's see what we have here. Now that we have our whole band in here, now let's do the before and after of everything, which is bass, drums, bass, guitars, and keyboards. So again, it sounds great. I mean, what I like about it is that it's quick. I mean, you have one plugin, you have some modules, you could toss them in there, adjust them really quick, and you could pull the mix together and get something that sounds pretty good very quickly without spending a lot of time on it. I've played with this a lot. I've used it before in mixes over at my mixing membership website, mixingmadeeasy.net. You can check the links in the description box below. I've done entire mixes with just the MIXBOX, and I got to tell you, you could get by with it. It really is great. 95% of the modules are really, really usable. Again, there's a couple that I kind of go, like, you know, maybe some of the, like the phonograph and stuff I'm not a big fan of. And there's a couple of the filters that I don't really find useful for me. You might find useful for you. They got a couple of weird plugins that make kind of weird sounds and stuff if you're looking for something unique and something cool. Again, if you're not into the plugin subscription thing, like with something like the Slate, and you just want to buy it and own it, and you want something a little bit different, I think the MIXBOX is a really, really good alternative. And I think most of their modules sound really good. And I think it's easy to use and you can get it really quick. And it's a great plugin. So I think you should check it out. If you want to check it out, click the links in the description box below and go check it out and try it. Try the MIXBOX and see if you like it. I think you'll really, really dig it. So I want to thank you so much for joining me and watching this entire video. And as I said at the beginning, I want to give you something else for just sticking around till the end. So again, if this is your first time here, go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Make sure you get that free mixing course. It's a $100 mixing course, absolutely free, no strings attached, doesn't cost you anything. Take the course. If you like my style of teaching and if I resonate with you as an instructor and you want to check out some of my other paid training courses, because I got many of them, from recording to mixing to mastering to EQ and compression and blah, 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 and you want to get a discount on one of my training courses, I want to give you a special coupon code. The coupon code is YouTube25. Put that in at checkout. That will take 25% off any one of the training courses on my website, YouTube25. So thank you so much for joining me for this look at the MIXBOX by IK-MultiMedia. I really hope you enjoy it. And until the next video, I've been Dave with HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.